Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Morning with Mook here, and we're going to start off, obviously, with the WNBA and Caitlin Clark and, how Monica McNutt busted out Stephen A. Smith and all those things. And this is much to do about nothing. And I was afraid of this with the WNBA and people parachuting in. They're taking something that should be a crowning moment for the league and turning it into personal agendas. The truth of the matter is that every sport has had someone influence it to push it to another level, not in singularity, but, in coverage. I remember when LeBron first got to the NBA, it was the huge deal. It brought people in a different generation, in a newer generation, in a younger generation to the TV for the NBA. We didn't treat it like this. When LeBron got fouled hard or mistreated or someone jumped in his face to talk trash to let this youngin know that he hadn't earned his stripes yet, we just said, hey, man, this is part of the NBA, man. This is what happens. But with the WNBA, it's like we're seeking out drama. We're trying to just crush this league of women who have had so many help build this league to this point. And it's just tough to see. There's no Jordan without Magic and Bird. There's no LeBron without Jordan. Basketball has had this generational thing. It's not necessarily baseball with its history and its stats and, GOAT talks and stuff like that. A lot of it's generational. Starting with Magic and Larry. I'm old enough to remember the NBA in the 70s. Magic and Larry brought this new flair to it, even though Dr. J and George Gervin and all those guys were already in the league. And that wasn't to put those guys down. It's just that Magic and Larry brought a little bit more. At the end of Magic and Larry, here came Michael. There were still stars in the league with Michael, but Michael just brought a little bit more. And LeBron, there were still stars in the league when LeBron got there, but LeBron brought a little bit more. And that's what's happened with Caitlin Clark. And I do agree with this rookie class as a whole. Yes, Caitlin Clark is the headliner, but let's not get this twisted. Those other young ladies, whether it's Angel Reese, whether it's Cameron Brink, those other young ladies are also bringing eyes to the set. Not as many eyes. And we're going to see this come to the NBA again, because let's just wait until Cooper Flag gets there. Because there are going to be people, the same people who have latched on to Caitlin Clark are going to latch on to Cooper Flag. And if anyone thinks that the NBA is going to let the NBA players going to let Cooper Flag run around here because you guys want him to be your hero and treat him with kid gloves, you're crazy there. But what I hate the most is it's just playing in the stereotypes that people like to perpetuate about women. And all the drama, like this is some sort of Real Housewives type of deal, man. It's just awful. It's awful. This league has been building. And just because you didn't pay attention to it doesn't mean that it hasn't been building. It's been building to this. Whether it was Caitlin Clark who came next or some other woman who came next, it was building towards this. The WNBA has been building. And we're losing sight of this in these little, what I like to describe as these little tribal dust-ups. Because people are so agenda-driven these days. And it's sad for the league at a time that we should be celebrating the league. Well, if you read my preview, I had warned about Deontay Wilder and whether he was the end of his career, and that Zhilei Zhang was the perfect matchup for him if we thought that Deontay Wilder had something left. And boy, we found out on Saturday, Deontay Wilder does not have anything left. He just does not let that right hand go the way he used to. He's not coming in there with that confidence, that bravado, that just over the top belief in himself. And it showed once again. And at his age, I hate to say this because I don't want to tell anyone to do what what to do with their career. But the truth of the matter is Deontay Wilder needs to retire. The knockout was bad. He's lost 4 out of his last 5 fights. He's just not himself. And to be frank with you, it does not look like his heart into it. And when you talk about combat sports, you cannot go into a ring or an octagon or anything else if your heart and your belief system is not 1,000%. And what we've seen now, Deontay Wilder, is it's not at 1,000%. And like I said, that's disappointing, because now we're forgetting about his great fights with Ortiz and the second fight, or all 3, the trilogy, not so much as the third, with Tyson Fury and those type of things. And we're losing out on a heavyweight that at one time looked like he was one step away from being in the conversation of all-time greats. And now he's kind of faded away. And like all older champions, when they start to lose it a bit, boy, I'm not going to lie to you, it is very tough to watch. You know, not to get back to women's sports, but I found it interesting that the U.S. Women's Open, which is major, did not get the press that it deserved. And I was a little irritated with the coverage, too. I can understand that a lot of the coverage was going to be on Lexi Thompson. I can understand that when Nelly Korda didn't make the cut, it kind of takes away from it a little bit. But that was riveting with the U.S. Open. It looked like the old men's U.S. Open, where if you make a mistake, you get punished for it. But it just did not grab any landscape. And I don't know what the LPGA can do more to help the sport out. They've tried to be sure that you know the women on the tour and get to know them personally, and they've tried their hardest with their media partners. I thought that Peacock had great coverage throughout, or at least more coverage than what would have been in the past throughout, and focusing on golfers besides Korda and besides Thompson. And we should not need, in this day and age, we should not need an American star to watch, because half you guys in sports don't root for the Americans anyway. I see it in the NBA all the time. You guys would rather see Jokic and Doncic win than you would any of the American stars. So don't tell me it's because it's not an American up there. That's ridiculous, because that has nothing to do with it. What I've also find kind of strange is golf, especially on the youth level, is actually growing. You know, golf was one of the sports that actually benefited during COVID, as interest in guys and women playing golf. And I just don't understand why it hasn't translated to the LPGA. I'm just hoping that they will start to get more attention to that tour, and people continue to get to know the golfers, and people continue to be interested in golf. But the LPGA and its media partners need to get together and find out how maybe to leverage all outlets, whether it's social media and all these other things, how to leverage it for the benefit of the sports in terms of ratings and dollars and all this sort of stuff, because these women are being cheated. They are very, very good. Very, very good. And it's just a shame that more people don't know it. It's Marks Washington from MTC Media.